All right, everybody, it's our Klaus here, and as you can see, we are on the official website of the Illuminati. And of course, I don't really mean that. I don't know what on earth is going on with this site, the legitimacy of it, anything, but I do find it very interesting. So I do want to take a closer look at it today and show you some very, very intriguing information that I've come across in the process of my own research on this. So let's get right into things here. And I don't want to take the risk on this channel to play this commercial, so please go watch it before this video. It's like a minute and a half long. And then go ahead and come back here, push play, and let's take a look. So, I mean, it's a very nice website that they put together here. You can see that they've got it nice and listed out for you, the purpose, the symbolism of everything, all of this different propaganda information that they've got going on here. So we're going to look at quite a few things, but the very first thing I want to check out here is their billionaire giving pledge, because this is actually how I came across finding this website. I had not seen it until my very last actual video that I was doing, talking about Geico and Warren Buffett, and so who of course owns Geico. But so in any case here, you can see the giving pledge is a commitment by the world's wealthiest individuals and families to dedicate the majority of their wealth to philanthropy. And you got a couple more blurbs here, and so if we click on this link down here, it takes us to another website, givingpledge.org, again purporting the same ideas here. And then it's just so interesting to me. You can scroll through here and see some very big names across here. Of course, Bill Ackman, I believe is a hedge fund bastard, as well as you've got Paul Allen here, and you can go on and on through this list. Here's Warren Buffett, again, how I came across all of this. But so in any case, so much to look into. This is a little bit from breaking down the symbol that they've chosen for all of this, and I do want to read you this excerpt because I do think it is very, again, interesting here. They say the Illuminati's duty to this planet has spanned across centuries and survived even the most established government entities. Though not praised in any history book, we have shaped every major movement on this planet and guided the human species through every threat of extinction. Though our human members may perish and fade into the annals of time, the Illuminati will continue to stand into eternity. And so, again, very bizarre sort of just approach that they're taking to all of this here. Go watch that commercial so you can really get a grasp of just how, again, omnipotent they're really promoting themselves to be. They are putting themselves forward as the real deal. And so if you take a look here, this is their book, Illuminatiam, the First Testament of the Illuminati. And so notice the release date here, December 14th of 2014. And it's actually a really big thing that I want to look into here. And so before we even get into that, though, let's jump back and really look at some of this coding here. So do notice that the First Testament of the Illuminati is the same coding as the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, as well as another government false flag operation, and some very powerful, this phrase right here, there is the dove and there is the serpent. This is something put forward by Crowley and something that he used to describe the Tower Tarot card in his rendition. And so very, very important. This is distinguishing between the ideas of love, and so a lot to go into. I've discussed this in the past, so please look into that. And so again here, notice these ideas: worship or reverence of Satan as a deity, and you also have extraterrestrials visit the earth, the system of economic contradictions, all of these pieces that really do define the world that we live in here. And so if we break this down just piece by piece, the First Testament, right, because that's kind of a big deal that they're promoting it as such. And you see here 9/11, as well as sudden rapture. He planned all of this from the beginning, and another sacrifice shall stain. Now, of course, this idea here beyond limitation is transcending the forbidden word restriction, and a lot to be said on that, but I want to keep moving. If you look at the English and simple values down here, do notice you get Donald John Trump Sr. So that is our current president right now of the United States. And one of the things that we're really going to go into in a bit here, we will actually talk about the Steve Jackson Illuminati card game and the reference there that could be to the potential assassination. But so keep that in mind. But notice all the other things here we've discussed. Mack trucks born ready. Remember, with the bulldog mascot anagram for bull god. The really great video I did on that, showing you all of those connections. But so again, you can look through here, see references to Morning Star / Lucifer, September 11 attack, impossible coincidences, the Beast of Revelation, and so on. All right. And if we take the word testament on its own, it is the same simple value as satanic offer, alien contact. But do notice it's that nice 117, which we could reduce down to 77. And of course, massively important number that we've discussed in the past. And I will talk about it just a little bit later on today. But so keep breaking this down, though, of the Illuminati. Again, I literally just took this in 2 chunks there, and you do get the all-seeing eye, demonic family, as well as a reference to the 3 of Cups. And so I've talked about this card in the past, and I'm just going to pull this information up for you on the side so that you can see some of the bullet points that come out of that card. And of course, it goes into this idea. I'll read you just the last one here. Binah, the great sea, is the moon in one aspect, but Saturn in another. And Mercury, besides being the word or will of the All One, is the guide of the souls of the dead. And so you also have the reference here to fulfillment of the will of love and abounding joy. And so something I've talked about a lot in the past is just, and again, this connects even back to the Tower card, is that love in the way that we understand it as not at all what it means when we're talking about it with occult connotations. But so notice here, will of love does have the same coding as Trump, Pence, as well as death penalty, the great beast, many other things that I've discussed for you. We'll pull it up for you on the side here just so you can have that reference point as we continue to go through. So there you have all of that information for you as well. But so now keep moving here. Do notice these ES values down here: New World Order, the false prophet, number of the beast, another reference to alien human contact, as well as the age of Aquarius, across the abyss, secret societies. I mean, it's a very powerhouse number. Do notice all of these massive pieces I've gone over in the past, including Tool's lead singer Maynard James Keenan and his actual name James Herbert Keenan, sharing that same coding. I've done a whole video on him, and numerous discussing the importance of his band Tool. Go figure. Now keep going here, and again, pause, look through these. These are all massively important pieces. This 12 and 12 here to give us 144. Again, it's a number we've talked about a lot in the past, but what I will add for today is the same simple value as Steve Jackson, the man who created that Illuminati card game that everybody is kind of up in arms about with this potential Trump assassination. So again, on the right side of your screen, go ahead and catch up with that information if you're not. But let's jump back over here to the left, though, because one of the things I want to check out is, of course, span of time since that book was released. So I wanted to look at 999 days after it was released, or what we had for that date from Amazon. And so that date is going to be September 7th of this year. And so what's very peculiar to me about that is that will be the day after the full corn moon. And so a lot of things to note about this moon. And so again, you can see this here if you don't believe my numbers. But so check this out here. September 6th, that full corn moon going to take place at 3:03 for.am. And so remember in the very beginning there, it was talking about the 33rd degree of Freemasonry when we were just looking at the coding for the first testament of the Illuminati. And so lots that has been said on that. But again, this is something I've said numerous times in the past, but this is chapter 33 of Crowley's Book of Lies. And you can see the title of it, Baphomet. And I will scroll down here for you so that you can see his commentary on this chapter as well, because it's all very, very important in trying to piece it together. And so let's jump back here though. Looking through this for the full corn moon, again, all those words are 4 letters. It gives us a nice 444, and we can reduce that down to 64, which I have talked about immensely for you, especially in that last video I did, but I'll come back to it at the end of this video actually. So notice here for full corn moon, it is the same as Donald Trump. And so you have he is dangerous, and infernal dictator, propaganda and coercion. Again, I'm just defining him at this point. You have the lying, 911 attacks, pretending to care. Again, all of these ideas. So notice down below the ES values for the full corn moon are the same as day of Be With Us. Now remember, this is from the Lord of Illusion. And so this I will pull up for you because I haven't discussed it in a couple of months here. But so very, very important. Let's see if I can get the actual one for you. There you have it. So take a look at all of this. Again, this is from the Book of Thoth, and this is talking about cleansing of everything in this realm. And so it's kind of another rendition of the apocalypse. And so, but do notice here, it is also the same coding as the Running Man, as well as Solve Coagula. Now, a lot of things that I just really want to point out with that. So for those of you not familiar with the Running Man, it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Again, AS from his initials, 119, that inverted 9/11. I did that video on the aftermath movie of his, looking ahead here, and it gave us some very interesting information. In any case, though, this is from the opening scene in the movie The Running Man, and it does start out by saying by 2017 the world economy has collapsed. Food, natural resources, and oil are in short supply. A police state divided into paramilitary zones rules with an iron hand. And so it goes on to talk about this corrupt role of the media, all these things that are absolutely in place. Of course, the paramilitary zones, everything's divided into mimicking the FEMA camps, all of those sorts of ideas. And so I do want to show you as well here, since Solve Coagula comes up in this coding, this is the goat of Mendes. And again, with Solve Coagula coming up on the full corn moon coding, it's just interesting because you do have the 2 pieces of the moon here. Again, these halves coming together for the whole. A lot of ways you could read that. We've talked about all this enthroned Washington stuff in the past. It is very, very fascinating. But again, I've talked about it at length, so I really want to keep moving today. So keep looking through all of this though, because there's a tremendous amount of information here. But one thing I do want to point out is it does give us these numbers 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, when I mirror and add those together, it does give us that 888. And so I do just want you to see that that is the same value as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Excuse me, no, not Arnold Schwarzenegger Aftermath. This is just a piece I was showing. So it's the same as Donald J. Trump, as well as David Blaine White. Again, look at all the information I've done about those 2 and their connections. And so lots to be said there. But so keep moving here. You do have Order from Chaos, as well as Day of Atonement, all these pieces, right? So keep going though. Do notice here, September 6th, the day of that full corn moon. It's the 249th day, 116 left in week 36. So I did want to reiterate that because September 6th was the day that Luciano died. And so again, go watch those videos. Y'all are slacking on some of these. There's so much information here that is just, again, so out of the box and so very interesting. So in any case, let's get back to September 7th though, because that's our big day that we're looking at, because it's 999 days after the release of this Illuminatium book. So that's the 250th day this year with 115 remaining. So take a look at all the ways we can break that down. Notice here for 36, we've talked about it a lot recently. But so take a look at all this, all the 666s, the 216s, all of that kind of stuff. And I also want you to remember that if we look at 2017, let's get you all the way down here. It does have that simple value of 216, which again is 6 times 6 times 6. And it has all of these references here to, again, 510 and 5, prophetic number from Dante's Divine Comedy, so on and so forth. But it's the same as the law of the strong. Remember, this is from book 77, in which Crowley lays out some kind of pieces of his own for how things should be. So again, very interesting. Catch up on those videos and read through all of this information here, because it's really covering it from a lot of angles, and I really don't want to bog it down explaining it for the umpteenth time. So notice here though, again, September 7th, 250th day. If we're looking at the simple value of 250, we do have Saturnalian Illuminati, last piece of the puzzle, the day of alien disclosure, as well as the phrase on a full moon in August. And so again, remember in that the aftermath video that I did, we were discussing the full sturgeon moon, because that's going to be August's full moon. And so again, lots of information there. Please look through it. I don't want to go over it again, but so let's keep moving though. Do notice down here the simple value of 115, Law and Order, A New World, Freemasons, Twitter, so on. All right, very important number that we've talked about. I do want to pull back though on the Running Man and show you the Jewish value for it, since earlier we just saw the English and simple values for it. So take a look here. The value gives us end of days as well as the masterpiece ion. Now, it's very interesting to see the masterpiece ion in the Jewish value, because remember Horatio Greeno, this is the man who built the enthroned Washington statue. That's the one that looks just like the goat of Mendes. And go watch my, I think JFK video is the one that really goes into that for you. But so it was telling us to see the masterpiece ion, and that was a long time ago. And so as we looked through it and got all of this information, we did find that the masterpiece ion, when it's a English value here, is the same as Donald John Trump, as well as Judgment / the Star. Remember, these are two cards that are tilted on that Economist tarot cover. And so again, all of the ways that you could read into this, the powers that be, Book of Revelations, and of course you can see the English and simples for 666 and 111 down here. Very interesting. This is all coming out of that aftermath video, which is, again, it's criminally underviewed, but I digress. Notice here as well, we do have the double X, the 666. You have the Large Hadron Collider, Lucifer and Satan, the Cross of Death. And so I wanted to bring this up because we did, I want to make sure I got it all here. So yeah, we did cover this in a video, because remember, the banned video of mine last year, again, arbitrarily banned. They said that I was using media in it. I used no clips in it, just still shots, but instantly banned pretty much within a couple of hours. In any case, I was talking about this celebrity deathmatch episode with Donald Trump, and he was actually going against Don King. And so in any case, you can see I connected it all the way across here, and just these bizarre things that were coming across with the two of them. But so just keep moving here though. You also have the phrase one dark eye. And so that lends us into what I want to discuss here with the with this whole Illuminati card game. So I've never really gone into this before, but I figure since I'm kind of looking at this Illuminatium thing, which is also really on the nose, I might as well take a look at this as well. And so take a look at this here. Illuminati card game that foretold 9/11 and Diana's death, predicts Trump assassination. And so notice there we do have the quotes. So if you do look at Trump assassination, I'll just pull it aside for you over here. it is the same as President Donald Trump, as well as end starting 10 10 10. And so it's very interesting because if you think about that as October 10th of this year, in this case that 2017, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 is 10, so you got a triple 10 right there. And it does also have that 9/11 Jewish value on it, so very interesting to say the least. The end of human history, Amtrak concentration camps, and again, accidentally on purpose next to this Trump assassination idea. So here's this for you. We can take it in a little closer so you can see here, but let's go back and I want to show you Enough is Enough. It's the name of the card here. You can see it says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. And so let's break that down, right? Start with enough is enough. And so take a look there, all that coding. I've talked about this Jewish value a lot because Rav Lezebnik's very important. But so look at this ES value down here, though, because it is the same as September 7. That's right, the 999th day since the first testament of the Illuminati was published is also the same as Age of Illuminatium. And so again, even if we're just going back here, so you can see, I'm just pulling this from their stuff here, and it's very, very compelling. 5:15, The Angels Have Gone. It's a David Bowie song. Of course, we all know who Beyonce is. But notice as well, you have reference to Vladimir Putin, New York City, Holy Double 8, as well as Sweet 16. And so September 7, 9, and 7 gives us that 16. It's very, very compelling. And of course, the Tower card, the one that we were discussing in the beginning, is the 16th tarot card. And so very, very important, everybody. I mean, I cannot overemphasize that. I'm sure I do, though. But so notice here, 72 is a powerhouse number. You also have the law fulfilled, all will manifest. 333. This is actually the number of the Book of Lies. Incredibly important once again. But you also have references to Queen Elizabeth II, who is the crooked serpent, as you can see there, on and on, right? So notice here, Holy Double 8. It's a huge thing that's come up. We talked about it a lot. It connects to Mount Etna or Etna, Typhon, all of it. If you take it as a simple value, it is the same as Trump, the New Age, and so as well as Fire Snake. But notice for the New Age here, all the words, 3 letters, the 333 or TNA, I know, reduces to 251. So what's really interesting about that is the simple value of 251 is the same as Illuminatium Testament. And so what's also very interesting is that September 8th is the 251st day this year, and depending on how you count your days, that could actually be the true marker of the 999 days. Again, you see I include the end date when I do my numbers, and that's something I do for consistency with my research. But notice here, if you don't include the end date on there and it goes to the 8th instead, you have that 999. And so it's very, very important. And that's why I always say there's a variant a little bit there when I do these days, because how I do it is not necessarily how they do it, but we are able to hone in very closely here. And so again, incredibly compelling. But let's keep going here, though. I want to look at some of these pieces, because remember on this card, it says at any time, at any place, right? That kind of thing, our snipers can get you. So I wanted to look, what is the coding for any time? And it's just very interesting because you do get FEMA internment camp, as well as Declaration of Independence, the blood of Christ, their forehead is sealed, the Phoenix, Terminators, all of this stuff. And again, if you're not catching how I got onto this card with the one dark eye there, when we were talking about this earlier with the Running Man, and you do notice it is the right eye, and so we'll get back to that here in just a second. But again, the forehead being sealed, ES values down below here. Look at this, Russia, stealing, inside job, and again, all of this connecting to what is currently going on in our world right now to show you just how this all lines up here. But so very important pieces. You see truth, justice. It doesn't exist. It's something we've made up. It's another construct. But again, the sun, architect, code breaker, very, very important pieces. The eyes. But so take a look down here, though. Any place. You do have misuse of magic, demonic fascists, and Sonora, California. So very interesting to get an actual city and state out of this. And so Sonora, they do have issues with him based on his whole wanting to build the wall, all of that kind of stuff. And so look into it. But look at these ES values. Same as Dale Gribble. Again, don't undermine it because he's a cartoon character. The Mack truck conspiracy I put forth based around him is very, very insightful. But so take a look down here, though, because you have references to hexagram, forbidden, and I feel, where's it at? No, it's right down below here. So we'll keep going here. So you do have these references to the hexagram, forbidden, glory, engineer, the caduceus, FEMA camps, the big lie, shoot, dragon head. All of these things just compounding in here. And so remember, if you're not familiar with the caduceus, a lot of this symbolism you can pull right out of this. And remember, this drawing is from Alephius Levi. And so this is the caduceus right here, the double serpentine. Again, it's on all the ambulances. Look at the Lady Gaga video we did where she's standing on the sanitation truck when Trump's blah, blah. But so take a look here, though. Have a nice day, right? Because that's how that card ends itself. And do notice here, it is the same coding as the seventh seal. And 1177, that value, if we add 11 and 77, we have 88, which brings us back to Trump, all of those things. And so do notice here, these references to great harvest, then sudden destruction, as well as the idea of subconscious implants. Now, something that just popped into my head when I was looking through this was the old wrestler from back when it was WWF, but McFoley as Mankind, and right, his slogan was "Have a nice day," and how just very interesting that the character of theirs named after essentially humanity in the broad way of speaking was completely deranged and wore this just sadistic sort of bondage mask, carried around a weird severed mannequin head, and this would connect to all of my Pez theory research as well. But so again, the Have a Nice Day guy, you can see here the eye is partially obscured. You could take that as a hail to the symbolism as well. I would most certainly be on board with that idea myself. And so keep looking through here, though, these ideas of illegal power, destroyer of the earth, toxic system. 33 is sacred, and the story of creation. Now, what's very interesting as well here, these ES values, same as Beyond Magic. Remember, this is David Blaine's most recent special, and go watch the video that I did connecting him and Donald Trump very closely. All right. Notice as well, it's the same as Pro logo. And I do want to just highlight that because that was what was on the cover of The Economist 3 days before the September 11 attacks. Again, this is something that we've discussed in previous videos, but so it just lines up across the board. But notice here, Typhon. This card is signed by the most powerful deity in mythology. And so I for one, have a hard time looking past that when it just comes with that Have a Nice Day. And again, all the Mankind stuff I just showed you. But remember Trump and the V symbolism, all right? The peace sign, all the stuff I've told you about that. But you see as well, Angel of Death, Chosen One. Look at here. Elevator, and by the way, Second Death, that's another piece from the Lord of Illusion. And so if you're looking at this, it kind of looks like elevator buttons. It really does. I know that's usually I don't do just a very it looks like this, but it really does there. And so that is very interesting to me, especially since Prince has kept coming up with all of these conspiracies, this and that. I think it's very peculiar that it looks like there are several elevator buttons surrounding this shot here. And so, of course, let's pull it back. I don't know if I'm pretty sure we got this in here earlier, just so you can see that direct connection there. And so if you just keep scrolling through here, though, you can see just, again, Luciferian, 8-8, dualisms, sunset, all these concepts, right? So finish it out here. Do notice for Illuminatiam, again, what they claim to be, you have the reference here to demonic celebrities. We get the date October 18th, and so it's the 291st day with 74 left. If you look at 291, it's Freemasons in the Illuminati, as well as terrorist organization, and 74, it's a massive number that we've discussed a lot lately. But again, same as killing, the king, Masonic, cross, Oregon, remember our 33rd state. You can look at this so many ways. Oregon starts with O, it's the 15th letter, it's a 6-letter word, 156. Number of Our Lady Babylon, if you reduce the O to 1 and 5 is 6 with the 6-letter word, you've got that nice 66. And so do remember for that 66, you do have it's the same coding as skull and bones, as well as, again, these massive pieces that we've looked into in the past. So go through, look through all of that. It is very fascinating. But keep going here back to this Illuminatium. You do have this idea of red serpent, great deception, an image of darkness, the serpent race, right? All these things that would directly be referential to this organization. Notice here as well the ES values, Jared Kushner, very interesting. And so notice as well the number 31. It's a very sacred number, as detailed in a number of places in Crowley's writing, but remember 31 times 3 gives us 93. It's very important. Of course, this connects us back to these ice cream ideas as well. Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors. Of course, ice cream, IC, 93. All the things, again, still just some of the most interesting work with that. But so notice here, again, right, come together, shapeshifters, Satan's aliens, on and on. So another way just to break this down, Illuminati without the the way we all usually look at it, simple of 120, same as Mack trucks, Mack Bulldogs, the architect, again, go watch that video. It's simple of 153 for the Illuminati. It's also the same as In the Right Eye, as well as Sausage Party, which remember, we did a whole video on that as well. It's 88 minutes, was released on DVD the day that Trump was put into office. All the things. Notice here, if we break down Illuminatium, starts with the 9th letter. It's 12 letters itself. If we look at that as 912, it's the same as the all-seeing eye, veiled allegory, all shall perish. There's our 36 again. Think about the 36th week that those September days are going to be taking place in. And I actually believe that this is an English value of 912. And again, on and on. If we invert it, if we say it's a 12-letter word that starts with the 9th letter, 129, Judgment Day, 888, Destroyer, Lightbringer, again, Lucifer. It's references to the number 99 and demonic forces. So if you take a look at this, I, again, what it starts with, 12 letters reduced is 1 and 2 equals 3. There's our 93 one more time, all right? So very, very interesting. I will pull this back up for you, though, because it does look like I glossed over it. So if you take a look here, and this is coming back to this 74 having an English value of 444. If you times those all together, you get 64. And again, it's just like 8 times 8 giving us 64. And do remember in that Geico video that we did, all of these 88s in between with our hidden days. Very, very interesting. And so, again, this is just a simple of 63. That's an inverted 36. If you wanted to take a look at that, see more of how that stacks up there. But that's what I have for you, all right? All of these pieces, all connected together. I highly advise you just keep an eye on those dates. And again, this In the Right Eye here, that's why I was reiterating on this guy here being the darkened eye, the right eye. Again, all of that connecting right across there. But yeah, keep an eye on those dates. As always, let me know if you see something interesting or want to build. That's where a lot of really interesting information can come from, as far as just me getting tuned into things that I otherwise would not be tuned into. And so again, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch. Oh, and let's look at this over here, because this is weird. So this is the TV commercial that I was saying you should watch before this video. And notice here the YouTube video, it's 1:35 minutes. And let's pull this over. For anybody still watching, this is for you. And so remember, we were talking about, we've talked about 135 a lot. If we mirror and add it, it does give us that 666. But we were also talking about it in its connection to August 10th. Again, another date that we've talked about very extensively here. And so let me see if I can pull that up for you as well. Okay, so August 10th, 222nd day of this year, and so I just want you to be able to see all of that. But I will pull this 135 back up for you. Let's get the very last one here. All right, so you can see thelemic order, terrorism. I believe dust devils is the same as this as well. I don't know why I don't have it on here. It's up at the top there. It's also the same as La Commedia e Finita. This is the last song that Luciano performed before he died. Again, he lip sync that song. All the things, all right? So very important that 135 happens to be the number that they chose for this. And so look through here, and I just thought these comments were so odd. If you just go and you see the number one ranked comment on here is from the Nerd Herd 6, saying he saw it on CNN and ABC. And so if you look at who that is, it's like this 6-year-old kid. And so I really don't know what's up with that, how that's the top comment. What he's doing watching this, if his dad forgot he was, on his kid's channel or something, I don't know. But so anyway, it's very interesting to me. You can see another bigger channel, Round Saturn's Eye, was commenting on this. I didn't know that he was a devout follower of Christianity, so very interesting for me to see that. And so again, lots of just bizarre stuff on here, but I just do think it's, really odd to just, I don't know, trying to piece all this together. Again, as always, decide for yourself, whether you think there is any validity to this, if it resonates in any way. But I have found quite a bit of resonance, and that's why I've chosen to tune you in to what I have throughout this presentation. So again, honestly, this time, thank you so much for watching, and please be well.